While quantitative and qualitative research methods each have unique strengths, some research problems require more than one research method. Today, we are going to talk about mixed methods research. Mixed methods research uses both quantitative and qualitative approaches in one study. The use of mixed methods can capitalize on the strengths of quantitative and qualitative methods, while mitigating the weaknesses of each method. Let's look at some advantages of using a mixed methods approach. Mixed methods research helps clarify and explain relationships found to exist between variables. Normally, quantitative research allows us to find the relationships among variables. Qualitative research allows us to further understand or to explain these relationships. It also enables in-depth exploration of these relationships. Qualitative research allows us to discover which variables are important. Finally, quantitative research can help confirm or cross-validate relationships that are discovered between variables. Mixed method studies have features of both methods. You may ask, why do we not conduct mixed method study all the time? Let's look at some drawbacks. Mixed methods research can be expensive and time-consuming, and it requires expertise in both quantitative and qualitative methods. At times, researchers need to figure out how to explain inconsistent results you obtained with two methods in one study. Here are the basic steps of conducting a mixed methods study. First, it is important to develop a clear rationale for using mixed methods approaches. What are the advantages to combining both qualitative and quantitative sources of data? Furthermore, you need to develop your research questions for qualitative data and for quantitative data, then decide if a mixed method study is really feasible, given the extra time and constraints it could place on a study. Next, you should determine the most appropriate mixed methods design and collect and analyze the data. Finally, when you write up the results, you will want to obtain a balance between qualitative and quantitative data. There are three basic designs. An exploratory design includes the results of qualitative research to inform a second quantitative phase. An explanatory design has quantitative research as its focus, which is followed by a qualitative phase that enables researchers to flesh out what has been documented in the quantitative findings. In a triangulation design, attempts are made to use both quantitative and qualitative methods to investigate the same phenomena and determine if the two converge on a single understanding of the research problem at hand. Please consider the following issues. One of the concerns involves advocacy lenses that one might use. The researcher's worldview implies that the purpose of research is to advocate for improved treatment of research participants in the world outside research. The sampling process in a mixed method study is complicated. Remember that qualitative researchers typically use purposive sampling with small sample size, and quantitative researchers typically use random sampling strategies with large sample size. Thus, mixed methods researchers have to decide what sampling strategies to use in qualitative and quantitative phases of the research. Do they want to include the same participants in both phases? For example, the qualitative sample might be a subset of the quantitative sample. In mixed method studies, two methods can be mixed at the following phases of a study: the type of investigation, confirmatory or exploratory, data collection and operations, and inference making. How do you evaluate a mixed method study? You can ask if both the quantitative and the qualitative methods played a role in the conclusions that we have been reached. You can ask if the study contains any threats to internal validity, And you can ask about the generalizability or the transferability of the findings. Basically, most of the terms we discussed earlier can be applied to mixed methods research. Thanks for watching this video.